the Affordable Care Act has been making positive impacts in people's lives, especially in the lives of families. If you are a woman who needs to take care of the children that you have, and you cannot maintain a job because of a mental illness, because you cannot have access to health care, you are not going to be contributing to society either. And so this is much more than just health insurance. This is access to health care so that lives are maintained and families are taken care of. And that people can actually go to work and take care of their families, and the children are taken care of. So with that, we have Mr. Joe Namor here, and he will share his story. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thanks for having me. Good morning. I just introduced myself. My name is Joe Namor. I'm a father, husband, and a small business owner, and I also suffer from multiple sclerosis. Just to give you a little background, in November of 2011, on a flight back from visiting family, I started to experience blurry vision in my eyes, weren't really sure what was going on, and doctor appointments later, as specialists, an MRI, a spinal tap, I was diagnosed with this disease. I remember getting the diagnosis and the doctor just saying that there's no cure at this time, that our lives could potentially change, we're not sure how bad it could be, and that moving forward we don't know what our life will look like. And that for medicine I'd have to take shots every other day, which was all very overwhelming. And I remember just getting back in our car and just breaking down and crying, and thankfully my wife was there, but it was just a really hard time for us. So just to give you a little background on MS, multiple sclerosis, it's an autoimmune disorder that your nerves are attacked by your immune system, and it can cause all types of problems. For me, I've had numb legs, numb hands, arms, at times from the waist down, everything numb. In the worst case scenarios, I've had legs that were dead where I would trip and fall, as well as it's tougher to sleep at night, wake up a lot, as well as digestive issues. So there's a whole range of things that it affects. And for me, that's not even as bad as it can be. Some people are in wheelchairs, so there's a wide range. The exciting news is in the last 15 years, there's been a lot of new medicines that have come out that have really changed the prognosis. And I'm thankful for these medicines, these disease-modifying drugs that have been given to us through my wife's employer, through health insurance that we've had through my wife's employer. And without it, the disease can be very disabling. And so I'm very thankful that we have the medication. So shortly after my diagnosis, I went back to work full-time for a local agency. It was a challenging period as I was trying to grapple with this new disease, dealing with the constant attacks, and going through different medicines, trying to find the right one for us and for me, and as well as IV treatments and nurses coming to our house. And then while I was going through all that, I was trying to balance my job and all that entailed. So at this point, I made the decision to leave the agency and go work for myself. Thankfully, I was able to do that because my wife was fully employed, and so we were able to have health care. Because this cost to add me to her health plan went from $50 a month to $650 for the premium, we decided just to test the private market to see what I could get. And called a couple health insurance companies, Humana and Blue Cross being two of them, and was denied by both. And it was at that point, on our second call, that the insurance company told me that MS was an automatic denial across the board, that no insurance company would provide you insurance of any kind. And the reason being is because your life expectancy doesn't really go down, but the bills will always be there. So you're a very expensive client, and you're going to be there for a while, potentially. Going back to our story, in June of 2014, we welcomed our son Benjamin into the world. It was one of the most exciting in our lives. As we planned for our first year with him, we decided that my wife would stay home. And we felt that it was important to have that time together, and we didn't like the idea of putting him in daycare that early on. Now, there are two reasons we were able to do that. One was because I was making enough to support our family on my own, doing my own business, and second was because of the Affordable Care Act, which was passed and prevented insurance companies from discriminating against us on the basis of pre-existing conditions. This single law made it possible for us to put our child above everything else, and to protect my body from potential attacks. Now, it's important to stress that the law is not perfect. We did pay $750 a month for premiums, and we still do, as well as a large deductible. But we're just thankful that we can get the coverage we need, and once the deductible is met, we're okay. All this leads to where we are today. we have a current government that started the process to repeal the ACA, and many of the provisions that it entails will be removed. It's hard to know exactly what's going to happen. Will pre-existing conditions be affected, or will it be protected? And my fear is for our family and for many others who are in similar situations, if this law is revoked, is that we could lose our health care. One thing I want to stress is MS is not a disease MS is a disease with many unknowns, one of which is the cause. And because of that, there's nothing that I've really done to deserve this disease. And I feel like, God, put that in my life for a reason, and I want to do whatever I can with it. But because I have this disease, should I have less rights than any other American to pursue the American dream of being my boss and being there for my family first? A recent post on Facebook that I made about the ACA, it was just a positive post, just saying how much it's impacted my life. And one response that really stuck out to me is someone saying, owning your own business is not an American right. He said that you can just get a job and have health care, so you should do it. I say that to ask, isn't small business what really drives this country? Don't you value the courage and risk it takes to go out on your own? Shouldn't you do everything you can to protect that right for all Americans? And isn't it wrong just to have to work to have health care? I'm not one that's looking for handouts, as many will say. I've never applied for disability pay. I work really hard, and I would just like to know that I can continue to work for myself, provide and be there for my family, and receive the continuous health care I really need. And just to give you an idea, a 30-day supply of the pills that I'm currently on costs, market value about $7,000, which, obviously is not affordable for most people. I believe that the concerns I have are the same as many others are experiencing. Millions of Americans like myself suffer from a life-altering pre-existing condition and will be forced to seek less than desirable full-time employment just to have health insurance. That we will have to give up businesses that we've worked so hard to grow within our Tampa community and across the country. That our health and our family is not a priority. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I thank you for fighting for all of our rights. I will leave you with this thought. Disease can affect anyone at any time. If this happened to your son, daughter, wife, husband, or even yourself, what would you do to make sure they had the care they needed? And I would ask that you